Like we didn't have a proper system. We were just trying to qualify the guy as a whale if the guy bought, for example, everything.
You don't really have that big whales right now, right?
Before we really had a bad base structure.
But if we improve the we're already like 1.98xing. These guys are making 50K a month and currently working 12-hour days to essentially fix every problem that's popping up in the industry. And most agencies stuck below 100K are effectively in that exact same situation. So we're going to look at the two levers that are going to fix this business and why working less is actually going to make more money. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys a quick intro, little time to introduce yourselves.
All right, so I'm Donk and this is my partner, Eduardo. We are from the OFM-Agency. And we are located in Portugal. We started like around 2.5 years ago. We found like the OFM space industry in YouTube, watching videos and everything. We started with DAs, moved to Reddit, bought a few courses along the way, got up and downs, focused on Reddit, got some results with Reddit, but after that, the results were inconsistent. And we couldn't maintain a stable income or passive source of income with it. So then we decided to go into your course, mentorship, into Academy or FMOS now, to invest more on organic social, especially on Instagram.
Hell yeah. And I mean, in terms of revenue, I think we were at what type of revenue in the last 30 days was like 50K?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
50K.
With how many creators right now?
One.
And the team in itself, like if you obviously, even including chatters, let's say, but how big is the team that you manage? Like VAs, chatters, managers, whatever.
10 people.
And I think 6 of those are chatters?
5 chatters probably.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 5 chatters.
All right. And in terms of like this sit down overall, but like for the next 60 days, like what's the goal for the agency?
We want to try to achieve the 100K.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. And I think we can achieve it. Or we made... We got together yesterday and we spoke more about the systems that we need to try to put everything together and working. So making that and then trying to onboard maybe another model. Even though with this model, I think we can achieve it. But like if she wants to leave and the next day we will go back to zero. So that's something that we spoke about it as well. So yeah, I think with one model we can get 100% the 100K, but with another model, it will be more sustainable and more like safe for the agency parts.
Got you. All right. And before we get into like the actual bottlenecks in terms of like the chatting and stuff, I'd like to look a bit deeper onto like the agency structure in itself of like what you guys are doing all day. Because I think this is where like most problems usually start. And once we fix that, everything else becomes easier. So can you walk me through like the average day? Like you wake up, what's the first thing you do in the morning?
I check my phone. I try to see the problems that we got during the night and I try to fix it. And what I'm doing, I will fix it because we already spoke it, is basically I try to do what I feel I need to do. So a chatter got like less sales, for example, than we were expecting. I will start like reviewing until it becomes like deeper and deeper, try to fix the problem, try to see what's going on with the chatter. And with the Reddit team as well, I try to see why this account is not performing or why we are getting shadow bans if we are getting. And yes, I try to do basically what I need to do, try to hire chatters, for example. Okay, then I remember, okay, I need to do that. But I will start having a calendar and I will have everything in blocks so I can have like the proper time to do everything as we spoke about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will start becoming more productive, basically.
100%. Yeah. And that was like a big point, right? Because like overall, when it comes to like this whole structure thing, nobody wants to talk about it because I mean, it's fucking boring, right? Like you want to talk about like the crazy leadership stuff, but like when you look at the day in itself, most agencies, I mean, what you've been doing in the past is like you're waking up and like your mind goes to the shit that's the most urgent. Like the chatter is like logged out and like this IG is advanced. You know, it's like it's never running out, even at this level, bro. Like there's 50 things you can take care of, and you could spend your whole day fixing problems, but like it on the one hand, you lose the mental space, you know, and we've all been there, right? It's like fucking 3 p.m. and you're like, I didn't do shit today except like fix certain things or like take out fire. But on the other hand, it also takes like the time away from setting up systems so it doesn't happen again, right? So for example, setting up the tracking sheet for the IG account so they don't get banned in the future, yada, yada. Okay, so we're not trying to be reactive anymore. And like the solution for that we talked about was, right, having like 2 30-minute time blocks in a day. So you work the first 2 hours, just phone off, do not disturb on. Like if your chick calls you, if the chat is locked out, it's like that's a problem for future Dong and Eduardo. Like that's not happening right now. And then afterwards, then we can have a 30-minute time block. Okay, fix all the problems we can. If it can't get fixed, all right, I'll do it in the evening. Right, that was the solution here. Got you. Now, in terms of going a bit deeper, the first thing I like to talk about is the chatting, right? Because that has been a thing. What's the main bottleneck in chatting so far? What would you say?
Basically, trying to get more whales.
Yeah.
And as we already know, it's not just buying the full script. There are other type of things that can try to be a potential whale that we have into the accounts.
Yeah.
And that can increase the revenue of the agency 100%, having a better system for the whales. So yeah, that's something that I need to work into it. We already spoke about it, already have the system. And yes, that's the main thing that we have as a problem into the chatting, I will say.
Got you. So like with the whales, what's like the bigger problem in itself? Is it like just finding them, getting them onto the profile, or like the chatters identifying them, or the chatters identifying them and then building them up? Like what's the issue there?
Yeah, it's basically finding them and trying to make them be like long-term subscribers into the model's accounts. Because like the chatters like to have new subs because they are already like people that like the model, you know, like we always got Reddit traffic, and then once they start getting more IG traffic, they saw like a lot of people start spending way more than on Reddit. So now they just want like new subs coming in. Okay, let me try to use the welcome script to them. And then once they need to invest some, like, I don't know, a few days or weeks to make that guy have a proper relationship so that person can start spending with the trust on the model, then they think like, that's too long term, you know, like I just want the new subs, and that's something that I'm trying to fight with. And yeah.
Got you. And like with the whales in itself, let's say like before your chatters find someone who's like spending a fuck ton of money, like what was the system behind like them identifying it to whale and then like kind of building this relationship up, you know?
Like we didn't have a proper system. That was the problem, and it's the problem. We were just trying to qualify the guy as a whale if the guy bought, for example, everything.
Yeah.
The guy bought everything, okay, it's equal. Which of course, now that we spoke about it, it's not the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
And we will fix it as fast as possible. So yeah, we had no system basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's like the main thing, because obviously there's like two problems attached to this, and like one is the chatter instruction itself, that obviously they shouldn't chase new subs, because it's like ideally you communicate to them that, bro, like these whales, they're gonna pay your rent. Like talking to like 50 new subs today is gonna make you what? Like you make a couple of sales, you have like one $15 video and you get your 10%, 3% on there, right? It's like,
yeah,
like you want me to pay your 5-cent commission over crypto? Like, what do you want? But it's like, that's the best position to be in as a chatter. If I was a chatter, I'd be selling to whales all day, right? So we have the communication, but the system we talked about was like, first of all, how we identify them. And like for us in the agency, it's like, they only need to have like 1 of 4 triggers. They don't need all of them, because like, that would be too perfect. You know, if someone comes in like, hey, I'm a billionaire and I love to spend money and like, I never want to meet you. It's like, well, that might happen, but it's probably not going to happen. But the main thing we look for is just 1 of the things he needs. And that's either like, for example, the financial situation. So 1 trigger could be he's buying the 1 first script without complaining, right? Even, well, not complaining about price. If he's like, hey, I want to see something else, cool. But okay, he spent like $300-400. He didn't complain about price once. Like, interesting. Or like that can also be that he has a high-paying job. He says he's a stockbroker, or I don't know, he's running Club 17, you know, jobs where we know the people are ultimately rich. No, but that's the one. Or the emotional side, even like, even if he doesn't have the money and you say, okay, he's super invested, like, oh, I love you, I want to spend time with you. And they're like, well, he might not have that much money, but he's still a whale, you know, he's going to spend everything on you. And then the chatters ideally just trigger that in the Discord or in the WhatsApp group or for like our Notion. And then you can just put like the cycle in place, which, I mean, before, did you have a cycle like the one we talked about in terms of like what you run the big sprinter through everything, or like what were the chatters instructed to do?
Like no instruction. Basically, we try to have like some tricky things, but it's basically everything on feelings. I feel like this guy might spend, or I feel like I need to do this tricky thing on him, for example. But there is no actually system. And that's something that we are leaving money like 100%. And I think that will, just even that will increase the revenue 100%. It's impossible to not increase the revenue with that. So yeah, we had no system basically.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, and again, like I would say like you or me, like all of us, we wouldn't need a system because we know how to talk to these people, right? Like we have that.
Yeah.
We've talked to them long enough. It's just like at some point, you know. But especially for the chatters, like ideally we want to give them like an idiot-proof system. So like if you gave a monkey a keyboard, you could get at least like $2,000 out of this guy, right? And like the cycle we always put the guys through is like we talked about, right? First we start with the framework. So we try to give him an understanding of why he's spending money. I think most agencies forget that. They're just trying to sell PPVs, and then the guy wakes up one day, it's like, man, I spent like $5,000 on this chick. and like I haven't even met her once. Like this has to be a scam, right? It's like, all right, fair enough. But the mistake is not like that you sold too much, it's that you didn't give him the understanding. It's like, if I told you like, bro, you have to go for a run every single day in the morning, you'd be like, nah. You know, like at least you wouldn't do it. But if I told you, hey, bro, like I'm going to give you $1 million if you go for one run every 30 days, you'd be like, all right. So like you'd see it differently. And the same way we want to tell them, hey, you are a man and I want a man that provides for me. If I see you provide for me, then I might even go one step further and go more serious with you, maybe settle down. We can't say meet, but we all know we're implying meeting. And then he knows, like, once he spends money, we can tell him, oh, I love how you provide for me. You're such a provider. I've never met a man who's so providing. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a provider, you know? Then he can cope himself into it, but we have to give him, like, the direction. And, like, that's, like, the first step of the cycle. And the second one is to let him, like, emotionally invest. And that's, like, a ladder that I showed you yesterday, right? But so every 10 days, we want to get one step further down the ladder. So first step is, okay, write me a little poem. Next one is like, have me as my phone background, buy me a gift, have a picture of me next to my bed stand, create a Spotify playlist for us, right? Because every single time, now he's going to think about her like 10 hours a day. This is what your chatters can't text him 10 hours a day. Yeah. But bro, like if he has your model as a phone background, for example, there's a million things you can do. Bro, he wakes up thinking about her. He goes to sleep thinking about her. Like your chatters can never compete with that. And then the two last steps of the cycle, just to run through it, is next we want to diversify payments. So as, for example, in your case here, the chatters will probably just send out PPVs, right? Yeah. So obviously, as we all know, like, let's say realistically after 3 months, he's literally seen everything. And it's like her titties don't change that much, you know, like unless she's getting fat. So it's like after 3 months, he doesn't really give a shit about her PPV. So then most whales stop buying. And I'm sure you had this as well. Like these whales that just stopped spending money.
Yeah,
you know?
we are having this actually. So yeah, we are trying to have different type of things. Like for example, bills. Like as we spoke about it, to try to make them spend more.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And like the main reason why they stopped spending money is either because the framework wasn't there, or it's mostly combination. Like they just get bored. It's a fair game, you know. I'd also get bored. Yeah. So like we can have them spend for PPVs, obviously for customs that are like much more to him. Like if he likes a certain song, like okay, I'm going to make a custom singing to it. You know, it doesn't have to be sexual. Also like we talked about, right? Bills, electricity bills, Wi-Fi bills, police fines, giving her personalized gifts that he tips for and then she buys. You know, maybe the fake version of, so you can make a profit. Like there's all these different things. So like they feel much more in a relationship. And then you can also send PPVs for free, right? But the last step in the ladder, which you weren't doing before, I think also, at least calculated, is like this making drama. That's like the last step in the cycle, Because like how many whales did you have that ended up like being pissed at you because you weren't meeting them, you weren't progressing in the relationship, you know what I mean?
From the small whales that we got, we were getting like all of that. Like basically, we were getting that problem. Even yesterday as we spoke, like we have like whales and then they ended up not spending, you know?
Yeah, and trust me, like this, I didn't come up with this system. Like that's been around for some years, right? I think even Tate spoke about this, but we always just want to like be at pulp. We want to start the drama, not him, you know, because he's always going to wake up in a bad mood. He's going to be questionable about things, and our job is kind of just to like not give him the opportunity to go on the offensive kind of thing, right? You know, like blitzkrieg. As a German, I can talk about this, but like we just want to make sure that like we always start some shit, like typical woman thing at some point, you know, like wake up random morning, he asks how she is, and then we just say, oh, you're not even gonna care? What? Like, oh, I was crying all day, you didn't even ask how I was? Well, I'm sorry. Like, oh, now you're not even asking. It's like he can't win this, you know. Then you'd be like, well, I was so close to meeting you. I was so close to getting more serious, but now you broke my heart. You're like the other guys. I don't even know if I can trust you. And then obviously he's going to try to get the power position back. He's going to apologize. Then you make him buy yourself a gift. You know, always take something that's like a little game like I didn't spend yesterday. But when you make drama with a big spender, you can always like, you need to ask for something in return. So he buys himself out of jail, kind of like Monopoly, you know?
Okay, makes sense.
So it's like, okay, like you misbehaved. I can't trust you, but let me think. What could it be? But if you buy me this Van Cleef bracelet, obviously you buy the fake version, he tips it, you make a profit. Then I know that you're really about it. I can wear it in my feet pose. Everyone knows I'm yours. And then I would really forgive you. And then it's like, all right, baby. And like, so he's not only getting scared of drama, but he knows, bro, if I misbehave, then it's costing me. So like he doesn't complain about anything. That's kind of like the cycle. After that, we do the emotional investment again. We get more payments. We build the framework. Yeah, that's the thing. All right. Overall, because I want to get a bit deeper into this because like we talked about the system for the whales itself in terms of like actually putting it to the chatters. There were also some questions about that. Like, how do we make sure like we have this cool idea of working with the whales, but like, how do you actually give it to the chatters? Do you remember like what the questions about that were?
Like we were having a problem that is basically trying to make them see the subscribers as a long-term thing. You know, like they just want the new subs, as I said on the beginning, and trying to give them like the thing, okay, but the guy will spend later, or that like already happened, but they just want basically the new subs, and that's kind of my fault because of that, because I don't have the rules, I would say, you know, to make not that happen, at least that often, and yeah, that's it.
What do you mean with the rules?
Like sometimes if they break some rules, sometimes they know that nothing will happen, you know? So that's something that we already spoke about the point system or strike system. But yeah, sometimes I feel sorry for them, like, or they think that I just want their salary or something like that. So yeah, like I try to give them the motivation a lot of times. And what I'm starting doing, that I already did, was start replacing the team. Okay, if they don't follow the rules, and it's just better to hire someone new, so explain the rules, and then that person needs to work with that rules, basically.
Yeah. And to be fair, like I originally when people tell me like, yeah, my employees or my chatters, like they don't do basic shit, my first reaction is always to say like, bro, just fucking fire them. Like it's grown ass man not being able to send shift reports, for example, right? Like at some point you gotta sacrifice those. But on the other hand, like of course, if you don't give them the impression that it's important, you can't be that pissed off about them. You know, if I tell you, bro, can you bring me a glass of water? And you're like, not bringing me. And then I'm like, why the fuck didn't you bring me? You'd be like, bro, like, didn't know it was about that deep, you know? Like, if I told you, bro, please bring me a glass of water. It's super important. I'm going to check on you in 5 minutes if it's here. And you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to bring it, you know? So like the way we want to go about it there is you want to make sure that we're like up their fucking ass about it, right? So the basic SOP for it, like if I talk about my own agency, I can give you an anecdote, but I had this one marketing employee that for reference, right? For our Instagram Reels, we have a checklist. Everything that needs to be there, like a hook, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. Every second needs to be interesting. You remember, right? And he always forgot to give the model instructions for our outfits, because obviously he should tell her what to wear because he has access to like all the clothes, whatever. And he forgot it every single time. And I told him, I gave him a warning. I was like, bro, you're a grown-ass man. You're like 23 years old. And I know he's watching this. And I was like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, you have a literal instruction. What's happening, right? He's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. He didn't do it. So I was like, I was thinking about firing him. But then I was like, you know what? I know he's good, but there's something missing. So I hopped on a call with him, and this is like what you can copy for every chatter, every supervisor as well. And I hopped on it and I framed the call the right way. So I told him, hey, you've been working for me for like, I think at this point, 1.5 years. I want to keep you in the company. But in order for you to stay in the company, you need to stop doing this. You need to start doing that, and you need to keep doing this. And in this call, I don't want to bash you. I just want to find a solution for you to, from now on, do this. I want you to help me. So like, then you ask him a few questions. So why didn't you send it? Couldn't you just done this? Then he's like, yeah, I had to go. And like, I was asking him, okay, how long does it take to write this instruction? He's like, yeah, it takes 10 seconds. I was like, all right, were you in that much of a hurry that you didn't have 10 seconds? He's like, no. It's like, fair enough. So what needs to happen? So we get there, get his commitment. So like, okay, I'm going to do it from now. And from then on, I just said, bro, since you wanted to be Mr. Independent, you didn't want to do your job. Okay, from now on, we're going to have a 15-minute daily meeting, 6 a.m. sharp. I know you hate waking up early, just to piss you off. And every single morning, we're going to look through your list yesterday and look through if the instructions are there. And we're going to keep doing this until it's dialed in. And he hated me for it. But like, what's the saying? I think it takes 7 days to build a habit. Bro, after like 1.5 weeks, like he never forgot one ever again, because I was so up his ass. And he knew if he forgot it again, the meetings come back. And it's like, that's what you can, I mean, you had the shift reports, I remember, that weren't being sent.
Yes.
What do you have other cases where employees don't do, like, let's call it basic shit?
Like sometimes, not too often.
Yeah.
The notes thing, like not taking notes because they have more people talking, even though it takes like 5 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
That was a thing. Now it's not anymore. Sometimes they forget or stuff like that. Like very rare. It's not something really often anymore.
Yeah.
And yes, I will just say that is basically the reports, basically. But I will fix it.
Got you. And in terms of employees itself, I mean, we kind of talked about systems as well, right? So when we're trying to get, for example, marketing employees more dialed into like the process, which we can get into later, or we're trying to get chatters into this whale thing, what type of things, or we had these Reddit guys, I think, what type of case did you have where people were like just struggling to follow like the instruction you gave them?
So it was the Reddit manager.
Yeah.
The other one resigned, completely fair. I level up another one that was on the posting team, so I already knew how to work with Reddit.
Yeah.
She just needed to learn the manage things, basically. And I think, as we spoke, it was like sometimes I overcomplicate. Sometimes I overcomplicate, and it's something that I'm fixing it. And yeah, like I sent her too many documents, too many SOPs. And sometimes having like a direction, it will be better to have it, and giving like her like every SOP at a time. Like, okay, when we get past, you already know how to do this, and now you need to learn this. Maybe it will be a better way to do it, I would say.
Yeah, I got you. And for the marketing employee, I think we were talking about like how to get you out of like the day-to-day. So like if we look at the brain tasks and the muscle tasks, like how to outsource it, I think. Like, what was the issue of the marketing guy in terms of like training him to essentially run the Instagram department?
It was mainly the tasks that required for Instagram marketing are now mainly brain tasks, and the requirements or the parameters or the tasks are really vague. There's not really a standard, or it's this is good, this is bad. There's no like a standard that's straight. So we had that issue, which I didn't know how to assign those tasks to the employees. And on yesterday we talked about, which is create a score checklist, right? And make it simple on the parameters. And for parameters that are vague, for example, the background, we talked about that example, we break down even more. Does the background has something on back, or does it seems sterile or something? Break it down to the terms that are, or concepts that are vague, and make it yes and no questions. So it's easier to answer, it's easier to fill up, it's easier to check. And at the end, we have a score. If the score doesn't match the requirement, he needs to check the other things.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to also get into that as well, because I don't know a single OF agency that like outsourced their marketing on the first try. Like including me, bro. I fucked this up so many times because like I'm a person, I like to do everything myself, which is a bad trait. You know this, right? Like you'd rather do it yourself, but at some point you caught up. But for all these things, like this is why I was asking both, right? Because it's like so different departments. The overall framework that we want to do is like from now on, like what we also talked about is when we're trying to give someone a task, when we're trying to delegate something to an employee, like we have like 5 steps. And the first one is we're trying to do the task ourselves, and it's mostly gonna suck, like chatting, you know, like I don't know how much you enjoy chatting. I personally don't. I personally fucking hate it, especially in the night. But we want to really like do the task ourselves and document it. So for example, in the agency, I always just start a Loom video and I just talk over like a live streamer, you know, like Aiden Ross, for example. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna send this message because this is good, this is bad, and I like this, I want to achieve this, yada yada. Like a live commentary. And from then on, you can also do the second step because you notice like what's going wrong. Like if you do your IG research yourself and you're like, bro, I have to switch between all the accounts, between 5 different phones. The second I want to do it in a cafe, which for creativity is, I always tell my marketing guys, bro, go outside because you need to have impressions. If you sit in a dark room all day, you're not going to be creative, right? So I noticed, well, if we have all research accounts on 5 phones, that sucks. And then I can get into optimizing it. So people don't have problems following it. And from then on, like once we did it and we found everything that needs to be improved, then we can make it idiot-proof, like the monkey with a keyboard example, right? Like if you're able to teach your, 10-year-old cousin to do it, you're probably just at the right level of ease of use. Because like you said, I think you gave the Reddit manager like a bunch of SOPs, which were probably correct. But for him, it's like, it's so much at once, right? Like,
yeah, it was something that if I will do now, I will have like, okay, in the first week you will learn this, second week you will learn this, and then after 2 months you will know how to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do it, then it's my fault and I need to fix the way that you need to learn.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
and I think like one of the, I'll call it mistakes or like one of the improvements that can be made, because obviously like we're all making things better at every time. But it's like once we give someone a system, right, we build up the SOPs, let's say, we optimize them, we make it idiot proof. The main actions that we always go through is like, we try to really help do the work with them until they can be left alone. So like you said, right, like, okay, every day, 30-minute Reddit stand-up call, right? Every single day, time blocked in the calendar. And then we're like, all right, let's go to it. Use screen share. You have the SOP here. Theoretically, you should know what happens because they all say they read the SOP. Yeah. But did they actually try to understand it? Half the time, probably no. And the other half, they actually did not understand it, even if they tried.
And they don't ask it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can also communicate. That's like one of the things, like you want to embrace to them, hey, I'm like, you have this job now and you're accountable for this job. And being accountable means that I'm going to judge you on the results, and it's in your power to get help. It's not, obviously it's not your job to do the employee's job for him, you know, like, oh, you really have to fill out those sheet and you really have to post like this. Like if we make X, this is like the framework that we also talked about yesterday. Like, if an employee follows your Reddit system, like the Reddit manager, what would be the overall KPI for success? For example, how many subs can we realistically get if he just follows everything by the book? Like when you did it, for example.
The minimum, it's basically the 100 free subs.
Okay.
With the system, 100 free subs.
All right, perfect, right? So like if you, we can say, okay, did we hit 100 free subs yesterday? If the answer is yes, like, we don't really give a shit what he did, right? If you worked half an hour a day, we didn't hit 100, bro, fair fucking enough. We don't punish smart work. But if we didn't hit it, then the second question is, okay, did you follow the SOPs and the sheets and the instructions word by word? If the answer is yes, then it's not his fault and your system sucks, you know, like, then maybe the accounts went down, whatever. But if he didn't, then the last question is, well, did you ask for help to do it? Did you ask for help to understand it? And if he didn't, then it's like, well, then you get a strike, you get a fuck up. If you have 3, you either leave or you get like 30% less salary. And so it's like, it teaches them like, bro, if you have a problem, come to me, but I'm not going to try to fix problems for you. Like,
try to fix it by yourself, to take the notes that you need, and then we do a call, and then we can try to fix that problem together, and you learn from it. And another thing that I started doing, it build the whole SOP, basically everything, and then give that person a bonus if that person gets like a document with every single question. So that way I can fix the SOP that we have, and then I answer those questions obviously in a call with that person.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like, bro, the most, like, if you had to pick like one skill for your team to have, like overall employees, because everyone's looking for employees that have done it before, that speak good English, all these things, which is good. But proactivity is like making your life 95% easier. Like, there's employees out there, like, just imagine it, right? Like, from the standpoint, you can hire someone and you can literally leave him alone. That's like, you know what I mean? If he has a problem, he's going to text you. He's going to like come, like we talked about, right? You can set up a weekly meeting. He's going to prepare all the questions, all the problems. He's going to come to you if he needs help. And he's not only going to come to you, but he's going to say, hey, I have X problem. I'm thinking of fixing it like this. I would do it exactly like this. Is it good, or would you do it another way? And you can either just like do like the yellow thumbs up emoji, you know, like every dad does. Or it can be like quick 30-second audio. Hey, good point. Do it like this. And he's like, got you. And he updates you when it's done. Like, then you can actually scale, you know, if you've had,
that's the difference between A players to C players. You know,
Yeah.
the C players bring you the problem to fix it. Now it's not his problem. Now it's your problem that you need to fix it.
Hell
So
yeah.
something that you spoke about it's basically trying to have A players on the team. And that's something that is already helping because I already started replacing people.
Yeah.
And that's something that will help the agency not having everyone sending the problems to myself, you know, like that's another thing that we are starting fixing it.
Hell yeah. And like I always said this, but like I would, especially in your place right now, as you also said, like you're kind of replacing the team. I also think like with this, like keep tracking the KPIs, keeping the team accountable. People are going to get like filtered out, right? It's normal. Some people can't adhere to the standards. And especially in this position, I would always take like a 10 out of 10 proactive person that's like has this skill, that has like 5 out of 10 skill, than like someone who's really amazing at Reddit or at marketing, but who you kind of have to hold his hand throughout the way. Because in your position, if you have to spend like 1 hour extra per day just like fixing his bullshit, bro,
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot now. But once you have like 3 more creators, 4 more creators, imagine this times 10, you know? Then your whole day is just like answering WhatsApp messages and like looking at KPI sheets, figuring out what he's doing wrong.
Yeah, that's why we are fixing it as fast as possible. So
100%.
we don't scale with cows, you know, like it's everything like scale, but everything is on the system, everything is working. That way, once we start hitting the 6 figures, we stay there, you know, like because we are always having that problem. Before it was like ups, downs,
Yes.
so we want to stable.
That's a point that I want to touch as well, because before we really had a bad base structure. So this time we wanted to invest more on that, have a great backend, because the great backend maintains and sustains a stable income, and also creates a strong base to sustain the scale that we are going to do with more models, with more marketing, with more employees. And that's
100%.
something that we want to do this time, and the mistake that we learned from the past experiences.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And also like just with the whale thing, I mean, right now, as far as I understood it, like you don't really have that big whales right now, right?
Yeah, like I would say it's basically having the right team to fix everything. It's saving already, actually, because we just onboarded a shatter and she's closing already $800 shifts. So it's pretty good. I never got that type of onboarding a shatter and trying to make her like as much money as possible. And she's really motivated. She said that she wants to try to achieve like 1,000 as fast as possible. And so yeah, that's basically the plan. And like you said, fixing the team, it will help a lot.
100%. And it's like, I don't know if you remember me talking about Smole call, but like if we're trying to double the revenue, which is effectively what we're doing if we want to hit 100K, like we talked about this in like a fast cash play call, but it's like, we're not trying to get like a whole new traffic source in that's just randomly bringing like 50K extra. We're just trying to improve like 7 things by 10%.
10%, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like the math is so easy, but like sometimes you forget about it, you know, but if we improve the chatting by just 10%, we improve the conversion by 10%, the welcome message response rate, the real views, the Reddit views or conversion, and then a couple other things. If we do that 7 times, we're already like 1.98xing if the math kind of checked out, you know? So like we double the revenue by improving 7 things by 10%. And it's like just this one chatter probably already did like a 10%, you know? So we need to find 6 more, which I mean, especially for the marketing, I'd also like to ask, because obviously you right now are doing the IG department, right?
Yeah.
But like, what's the type of thing that you're currently doing that you shouldn't be doing at this point that you're trying to outsource?
I would say it's mainly scheduling posts and two other things that now that I will implement as well, which is giving feedback to the reels that our models is producing, and also the reels that editor edits. So those are two steps that I need to create, that implement that checklist, score checklist system in there. And have someone assigned to it.
Yeah. So muscle tasks of like uploading, quality control, and I think also ideation to a certain degree, like research.
Yeah, that's a good topic to touch as well, because mostly for ideation, what I started integrating like a few months ago is using AI to actually help me to do the research and ideation, and also writing to drafts with alt data. We spoke that on the course as well. I think it's one of the marketing weeks, which is keeping track of everything that's going on regarding to like the content format that worked, hooks that worked, a lot of other patterns that we need to keep track on. So when we write or start writing the drafts for the reels for the model to produce, the AI takes all of that data, which is straightforward data. It's this works, this doesn't work, and creates a draft that's using the data that actually works, using the pattern that's actually working. And that's what I find that AI does well. Regarding to ideation, to research, I have an AI who crawls through Instagram and does a vision analysis with some AI that does vision analysis. And he scrolls to Instagram, and for the parameters that he can check, for example, the X factor, he can check the views and average from the account. He can get that data. Regarding to the reel itself, if it's good for the model or not, it's still a little bit vague, but I already added a lot of parameters for him to check, like patterns, everything step by step, so he can give a more precise data for that.
Fire. And so what's missing so far is like the posting itself, which is like, obviously we can outsource it, but like it's getting very technical, right? Because of like, I don't want to say ideally we just have someone that's like living near you, right? That you can just give the phones to. But so that would just be a muscle task, right? But especially like quality control, like what's missing to outsource it in terms of like giving it to someone, like what's missing there?
Quality control.
Yeah.
I would say it's just start actually assigning and creating the score checklist. It's creating a good checklist that I can actually start using to test it out and optimize, and then I structure it to assign it to following the steps that you mentioned yesterday.
Because you're just trying to get someone to this point that you are in right now, where like you're probably at a point where you see a video of the creator and you just know what's wrong, kind of thing, right? You couldn't like always put it in words, but you're like, it's just a good background. It's just good. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just see it. And like what we talked about is like, especially for marketing, but like, bro, when I first tried to hire my first marketing guy, because that's always been my strength, right? Like TikTok and all these things. I always try to give him like a workflow. I try to show him like how the task is supposed to be done. You know, I was like, bro, if you scroll like this, and like chatting, you know, chatting is just following, it's like sales, and sales is literally just following like a script, more or less. I tried to give him like a marketing script, like an SOP. But the problem with that is like you have too little reps because you have no feedback loop, right? So in this specific situation, like what we're trying to do is we want to get someone that has a certain understanding of creativity, but mainly we just want to give him as many reps as possible, because like the marketing brain is like such a muscle, we know, which is why when we're trying to do creative tasks, we need to go outside, we need to travel, because it gives our brain more impressions. And so we want to break it down into yes or no questions. You kind of took that away before, right? But okay, would you like, for the background even, right? If you want to do the rechecks, like you can tell the employee, here's a checklist for the background. Would you like to be in this location right now? Yes or no? Well, probably no. Yeah, okay, then it's a shit background, right? Does the location look like she actually lives there or she actually spends time there? Again, right here, I'd say it kind of looks like it. If she's in front of a white wall, it doesn't really look like it, right? Yeah. Did you see this location in the last 10 reels somewhere? If the answer is yes, then okay, it's a shit background. And like you can really, like Hormozy talks about this, you can break out most tasks into very simple questions, like even chatting, right? Like if you read your own message, do you feel like the model gives a shit about the sub? And like half the time, the answer is probably no. And like, you know, he also knows it. He just has to remind him and get the reps in. And the second thing is also like what we talked about is just giving him that feedback loop, right? Sending you 10 reels every day, and you can say 1, 5, 7, and 9, they all have good backgrounds. 2, 6, 7, 2, 6, 9, they, for example, they have shit ones. So this is why, this is how you do it better, and like give him like these reps, which also what we do. Like every marketing employee in our agency, just for you to see that, they start off as a researcher. Even like the head of marketing now, he started off as like a researching VA, and we just told him, bro, just send me 10 videos a day for I think 3 weeks. Then 7 out of 10 ideas were always good. I was like, all right, now you get to do lists. Then 7 out of 10 lists were good. I was like, all right, you get to manage your first creator. And I always gave him feedback every day, yada, yada. It sucked. But now he's at a point where he knows more about marketing than me. So if you think I'm cool, like you should meet this guy, you know?
That's even better. Once you have someone that knows more about you, I think you are maybe on the right path, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, logically, right? Because he spends like 14
More
hours
time.
a day.
He needs to become better than you.
Yeah, 100%. Because you spend like 2 hours a day on marketing, 2 hours on chatting, model management, and you also enjoy your life because you're really making the money. And like he's like locked in 14 hours a day just watching reels. Like, of course, he's going to get better. Yeah. But in the beginning, the standard should be 80% as good as you. That should be your main goal. Like if he's doing it 80% as good as you do, you can say, okay, I did a good onboarding, I did a good training. After that, it's just coming. Yeah.
Perfect.
And also like just to put that into perspective, like one good marketing hire, one good chatting hire is going to be worth like 10 mediocre hires. Like you said about A players, right? Like if you have this one marketing guy who's really about it and who's really locked in, he's understanding the game, he has this muscle built out. Like most agencies, you talk to them as well. Like, you know, these agencies that like, oh yeah, we have like a 50-person team, we work with 100 people, and like they jerk off to their team count. But it's like, until a certain level, the more employees you have, that's like a sign of you not being able to manage your shit. Because like, bro, if you're able to run a 200K agency with like 4 people, that's like, all right, fair enough. You know, this guy knows some about management. Yeah. So like the better you train, the less people you need and the more money you make. That's like the equation we always use. Yeah. All right. Does that help with the marketing thing, or is there like, in terms of the posting, still things to be talked about in order to outsource that?
I think it answers the question regarding to like the marketing guy needs to do the research himself to be actually learn the market.
Yeah.
And train that marketing brain, as you said. Then I can start helping him and providing him like a structure that he can use for the feedback.
Yeah.
And the quality control.
Gotcha. And like how much, for example, let's kind of do the math because I really want to know. Let's say we fully outsource the quality control. We kind of half outsource the posting because probably on the big accounts, you're still going to do it yourself realistically, right? So because you don't want to lose them, right?
Yeah.
We outsource that. And also for the chatting, I mean, like, let's assume the amount of problems you have to fix in the chatting goes down by like 90%, which is really realistic from what I've heard. And you stop running behind your employees. Like the only thing you really need to do is like have 1 30-minute stand-up call, 15-minute more or less, and then like 1 hour per day giving feedback, looking through the chats. How much time does that free up in an ideal world?
I think I already did the math and to review like all the chatters, scheduling the call, then like the guys, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes later, then the other one as well, something like that. Yeah. Everything compounding, you know. I think it was like 20 hours per week just into reviewing everything, building the document, scheduling the call, trying to get his answer if we can even make it today, you know, or, oh, actually I can't join, so I need to record a video for the guy. I think everything together, I already did the math, it was like 20 hours per day.
Which is like crazy, you know? Like you can, bro, if you spend 20 hours a week like playing piano, after like a month, you're gonna be like Beethoven, you know? Like.
But I think the auto review thing that we spoke yesterday to make the chatters auto review, that will help you. Help me a lot, actually.
100%. Like for reference, right? Like we're just trying to set up like a reoccurring event in the Google Calendar, which is like what every other corporate company does like since like 100 years. Just OFM agencies tend to like forget it. You know, but we're just trying to have like, hey, Monday morning, you have like, for like, at this point with every chatter, in the future, we're going to have it with just the supervisor who's like talking to all the chatters, right? So we're not trying to have 30 chatters and 30 stand-up calls, right? At that point, it's kind of like going the wrong direction. But we're just trying to have like this one event and they're tasked to like prepare, right? Like, hey, prepare all the problems you have, the questions that you want to answer, right? The things that went good in your opinion, 5 chats where you think it went amazing, where you did a good job, and 5 chats where you think you did shit and you want feedback. And also with the little note that, like, if I find chats that are bad and you didn't show them to me in a call, I'm going to be mad. So you might as well bring them to me now while I'm in a good mood, you know? And also, like, yeah, it takes time away from, like, now they do the feedback for you. So you can just, like, look at it 5 minutes before the call, be like,
and
whatever.
it will be even better because in a perspective way, they will do like less mistakes because now they need to lose the time to do it, you know? So they think, wait, let me fix this because otherwise I need to spend more 5 minutes to try to report everything. Otherwise, like, the boss will find it, you know? Like, making the auto review, the guy will always think, in my opinion, like, okay, let me do everything perfect to make sure I don't need to spend like 1 hour trying to find every single mistake that I did.
Oh, hell yeah. It's like the secret to everything, right? Like, I had this one friend who was like super fat, you know, back like a couple of years ago. And like, he tried everything to lose weight, but what ended up, like, long story short, what ended up fixing it for him is just like having to answer to somebody about it, like being held accountable, you know? Like, every single week I was checking in with him. I was like, bro, what's your weight? Send me a picture of it. And he's like, every time the weight went up, I was like, okay, what the fuck happened, right? What did you eat, bro? Like, don't lie to me, you know? And he's like, yeah, well, bro, after 2 weeks, he stopped eating junk food. Not because I'm like a great coach, but I was his friend. He was like, bro, I feel like a bitch when I have to say I ate McDonald's, you know? So with the chat, it's the same. Like, they sit, like, most agency owners, they have to kind of understand how it is working as a chatter, because I think most of us forget it. But bro, if you sit there like Friday night, 4 a.m., you've been through like 6 hours of chatting and you're like, this guy's sending this long message. Should I even read it or should I just say, yeah, baby, whatever? And then either they think of, yeah, whatever, I'll just fuck this message, I'm going to send everything. Or they think, bro, if I don't hit my quota, if my KPIs look bad, if boss finds this chat on Monday, I'm going to have a very rude awakening, because you obviously, then you're going to be strict. You're like, what the fuck happened? Like, you know that you shouldn't answer like this, right? Yeah. So what the fuck happened? And then after 2 weeks, they're like, bro, I'm just going to work about how I'm supposed to, you know, because the alternative is worse.
No, yeah, degree. Of course. The system will help us 100% to get some time back, I would say. And yeah, that's something that it will decrease the mistakes as we spoke about it, because they will always think like, okay, let me just reply to this guy 100%. In a good way.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, before we come to the conclusion, like, obviously, because I mean, have you met Luke from OFM-Agency? Like, this guy, he was joining like on the 30th of April and he was doing like 20K. And like after 6 days, he already went up to 40. Like in 6 days, which is fucking crazy, right? Like that usually doesn't happen. Crazy. And the thing is, bro, I didn't even open his Instagram account at this point. It just happened through the back end. You know what I mean? Like, we literally just we just implemented what we talked about today with like a couple of other tweaks that we talked about yesterday as well. And the chatting literally doubled. And fun fact, he told me he has great chatting on the first call, like everyone does, you know? Oh yeah, chatting is great, bro. Yeah. Chatting is amazing. Yeah, like, let's check about that later, you know? But it's like, bro, with the leverage you have on the chatting, you can increase the marketing by 10-15% and improve the chatting. That's already 100K, if you ask me. Like, out of those 10% increases, I think 5 of them are in the chatting.
No, 100%. Like, we were always trying to chase the marketing thing, you know?
Yeah.
But
classic.
So yeah, it's a hardest job, because like shadow ban waves, for example, bans happens time to time. But like the back end, like, imagine if you want to double the funds, like the subscribers into the accounts, like, what you need to do? Hire more people, I will say. Create more accounts. If it's Reddit accounts, you need like 30 days to warm up them. Like, plus try to earn some karma there. Like, again, warm up to the not safe work subreddits, I would say. So it takes a lot of time. On the back end, it's everything more easy, because you can just fix the pay-per-view number 3, for example.
Yeah.
It's not selling the way that it should be. It's a drop. Just fixing that drop. Imagine that it's a $53 pay-per-view. Just that drop for the amount of subscribers you get per day, that will like make you more money 100%. Like, it's 100%. Easy and faster. And I didn't have that type of notion about how strong is the back end actually.
Yeah, 100%. But we all don't, right? Like, we're all human, and we all prefer to start like AI Reddit spam black hat. But you know what? This sounds cooler than like, oh, let me look at the next spreadsheet and like look at the numbers. But it's like, there's no easier way to like double the numbers, you know, and like double numbers is fucking heavy in business. Like most businesses do that like once and then never again. So yeah, 100%. And I mean, I have a conclusion, but I'd really like to hear from both of you actually, like about OFM-OS, since obviously you've been a part from the start pretty much. What have been like the most helpful things so far that did the most difference? You know what I mean?
Okay, so two things. It was like the backend. Okay, like on the first week that I added the chatting KPIs, because I was not even tracking that. It was just basically on the feelings. It was just basically like every day, okay, this guy is dropping the sale, let me check. So I figured out basically on the beginning that I added the KPIs. I figured out one guy was not making the money that it was supposed to be making. And we were getting traffic from IG and Reddit. So everyone was crushing it except that guy. So I had the KPIs, and then I figured out that, okay, the other chatter was sending like 150 pay-per-views a week, for example, and then the guy was having like 60, 70 pay-per-views a week. Yeah. So I said to the guy, okay, here is a problem, let's fix it. And then that guy started like from $300 a week, for example, to 4K. Like it was just basically that. I was not tracking the backend, as I just said. And then the second thing, it was basically adding Arthur. I would say Arthur making the weekly calls with him. He helped me a lot. He said to track the pay-per-views, like the scripts, that I was not doing it. And that helps a lot. And it fixes a lot of problems that we got into our agency.
Yeah. And for marketing, I would say I learned two things as well. First thing is the basics of the marketing and everything, like the whole essence of of marketing and organic marketing. And second thing is I learned that marketing it may appear to be random, but nowadays, and since I joined the OFM-OS, I learned that a lot of the marketing can be systemized, and there's a lot of structures that can be seen and tracked, and a lot of patterns that can be tracked, and the marketing is not random, you know. That's what we learned.
Amazing. And like in terms of like the journey in OFM-OS so far, like what specific vehicles helped the most? So like was it the calls or like the frameworks? You mentioned Arthur, Olive AI, like for like the backend and the marketing.
Olive AI, it's another one. It helps a lot because it's like 24/7 working, and he replies and he talks basically like you, and he knows a lot. Basically, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. And like in the marketing, like what was the most helpful thing we did? You know what I mean?
I would say like the calls and the information that you had here on the course, like the whole tools, PDFs, and the calls that we did. I think that's a lot of help, because on marketing, I believe it's really just pure knowledge that you need to have. You learn the basics, you learn the structure, you learn why it works and why you should learn about that. And then it's just replicate, because for every model has like the forward marketing, it can be like everyone may think is everyone has a different model, everyone has different niches, everyone has different brands. But if you learn the why it works, you are able to apply it for everything that you are doing.
Oh yeah, I would disagree though, because like theoretically you only need the knowledge, but you also actually need to get up your ass and implement it. I think you guys done that amazingly. Like that's the only point of failure. And like I only see you working. Like I've talked to you as well, and like all you do is work. So like it's definitely your achievement. You know what I mean? Because I have like 130 YouTube videos and like a gazillion reels out there. And in Club 17, I have like I think like 20 or 30,000 messages that I send. But you know what I mean? The amount of people that implements it, it's so low. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the knowledge is good, but I'm very glad you implemented it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I mean, as a conclusion, like we already talked about yesterday, I think you will like in your specific kind of roadmap of scaling, it's not about what you are doing necessarily, it's about what you're not doing, what you not let distract yourself, you know, like this AI black hat spam multi-account type of shit, you know, but just like you will make more money doing less and just really focusing like, hey, how do I do less? How do I make sure I don't have to do this? You just have to lazy max to a certain degree. Basically, right? Because you get very creative when you don't want to do shit. When you remember from school, you know? And I think that's the path to 100K right there, 100%. And I mean, overall, if the people are watching, if you're a 100K agency, if you're below 100K and you're stuck, you probably just need to follow this exact roadmap, and now you know what you do, right? You're also working 12, 14-hour days. You also don't know exactly what to do, and you're not tracking enough. Side eye, right? No, but on serious, no, you're not tracking enough, and you know exactly what to do after this. If you want help doing that, you know where to find me. But otherwise, it was a pleasure, guys. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
It's been fun. So let's keep it crushing.